Welcome to the Austin District Rural Transportation Improvement Program virtual public meeting for the 2023 through 2026 program. I am Angela Irwin and I'm the lead planner for our rural tip. We are here today to go over the projects to be included in the upcoming 2023 through 2026 rural tip. Today we will go over the counties in the Austin District and all the roads under the district's care. We will also review the basics of what is the rural tip and why it's important for you to be here with us today. We will explain how the projects included in the program are selected and classified in order to make the most of the program. Once you understand all of this, you will have the opportunity to review all of the projects the Austin District has included in the 23 through 26 program. This includes both big projects and small supporting projects. We will also go over funding, answering questions on where does the money to pay for these projects come from and how it gets distributed. Lastly, I will outline all the available ways the public can comment on these projects. We know everyone took time from their day to attend this virtual public meeting and we appreciate it. As such, we would like to express our continued concern for safety by sharing one of TxDOT's campaigns, In the Streak, Texas. In the Streak, Texas was championed because November the 7th, 2000 was the last deathless day on a Texas roadway. Please help us end the streak by doing your part, making the best and safest decision behind the wheel, and encourage others to do the same. The Austin District has a total of 11 counties that we are responsible for. The counties you see highlighted in blue fall within Campo's jurisdiction, and they will be responsible for adding the projects in these areas in their tip. Projects highlighted in orange are included in the 23 through 26 rural tip located in Mason, Llano, Gillespie, Blanco, and Lee counties. The Rural Transportation Improvement Program is a list of local projects planned to be funded in a TxDOT district over the next 4 years. This means that all projects included in the list are expected to be underway within 4 years following its approval. These are the projects you can expect to go to contract in the near future. This program is multimodal, which means it can include projects relating to highways, bicycle and pedestrian facilities, transit services, and freight projects, as well as preliminary studies used to define those projects. The rural tip is meant to show regional agreement on the need and priority of a transportation project so all parties involved can be sure they are making the best investment for the community. It is also expected to be consistent with the projects and objectives included in the regional long-range transportation plans to ensure that all agencies are working towards the same goal. The rural tip is a part of the statewide transportation improvement program. Because the program and its rules are established by federal law, no project can receive federal funding unless it is listed in the rural tip. So how does the rural tip impact you? It is important for you to participate because funding secured by this process is intended to address your community's most immediate needs. By providing comments on the priority of the projects included, you are helping us identify regional priorities. By reviewing the entire program in a single meeting, you are 1. Having a regional impact, 2. Helping us become more effective with your money, and 3. Ensuring that we are investing where we should. Let's go over how projects are selected for the rural tip. Rural transportation organizations, metropolitan planning organizations, and local governments are responsible for helping to identify and selecting projects on the state's transportation system and other national roadways within their boundaries in coordination with TxDOT. This includes interstates, state and U.S. highways, but most importantly, this can also include farm-to-market and ranch-to-market roads you use every day. The projects you will review today should respond to local needs. It is our responsibility to provide you with the opportunity to provide input on which projects should be advanced. Once projects have been defined, they are evaluated according to their scale and classified according to the funding they require as well as their potential impact. Big projects are categorized as regionally significant projects that are included as standalone items or individual projects. An example is a new bridge over a river or project that adds lanes. To simplify this budgeting and planning process, smaller projects are lumped together into 12 separate subcategories referred to as grouped projects. In the next two slides, you will find what types of projects qualify for grouping. Group projects were developed in accordance with FHWA. They were created to assist in streamlining projects that did not have the same magnitude as mobility projects. Projects are identified by grouping their project classification or work type. Group projects include things like preliminary engineering and right-of-way activities, along with landscaping, safety lights, or new bicycle and pedestrian facilities. These grouping practice facilitates the federal funding of smaller projects, for example, the pavement repair of an FM road. Here are a few other group categories that qualify. This map shows all projects included in the 2023-2026 rural TIP for Blanco County. This table shows details of projects included in the 2023 through 2026 rural TIP for Blanco County. US 290 from US 281 to west of Miller Creek Cemetery Road for Bonding and Tom, scheduled to let in 2023. US 290 from west of Miller Creek Cemetery Road to Blanco Hayes County line for Bonding Course and Tom is scheduled to let in fiscal year 2023. US 281 from Burnett County line to US 290 for Bonding Course and Tom is scheduled to let in 2023. RM 165 from SL 163 to Hayes County line for Seal Coat is scheduled to let in 2023. US 281 from south of Johnson City to south of US 290 for Level Up and Bonding Course is set to let for fiscal year 2024. US 281 from Burnett County line to 0.25 miles north of RM 962 to install continuous turn lane and construct paved shoulders is scheduled to let in 2024. US 281 from 0.05 miles south of RM 962 to 0.65 miles south of RM 62 to install continuous turn lane and construct paved shoulders is scheduled to let in fiscal year 2024. RM 1623 from 1.801 miles east of RM 1888 to US 281 for Seal Coat is scheduled to let in fiscal year 2024. This map shows all the projects included in the 2023 through 2026 rural TIP for Gillespie County. The table shows the details of projects included in the 2023 through 2026 rural TIP for Gillespie County. CR 123 on Gellerman Lane at Pedernales River to replace bridge and approaches is scheduled to let in fiscal year 2023. Llano Street from South Llano Street from East San Antonio to East Ufer Street to East Ufer Street from South Llano to South Lincoln to construct shared use bridge and sidewalks along South Llano Street and construct sidewalks along East Ufer and St. Lincoln Street is scheduled to let in fiscal year 2023. US 290 from Yensick Lane to Cemetery Road to widen with continuous left turn is scheduled to let in fiscal year 2023. US 87 from Barons Creek to Old Mason Road for Bonding Course and Tom is scheduled to let in 2024. US 290 from east of Rhea Road to US 87 for Level Up and Seal Coat is scheduled to let in 2024. US 87 from west of 290 to east of US 290 for level up mill bonding course is scheduled to let for fiscal year 2024. US 87 from RM 648 to Barons Creek for level up and bonding course is scheduled to let in 2024. US 290 from west of Cornhill to east of Rhea for level up and seal coat is scheduled to let in 2025. US 87 from Old Mason Road to US 290 for level up and bonding course is scheduled to let in 2025. US 290 from North Washington Street to Crystal Drive for level up mill bonding course is scheduled to let in 2025. RM 1631 from US 290 to north of Everly for level up bonding course and Tom is scheduled to let in 2025. This map shows all projects included in the 23 through 26 rural tip for Lee County. The table shows the details of projects included in the 2023 through 2026 rural tip for Lee County. FM 1624 at Yest Yaga Lane Creek to replace bridge and approaches is scheduled to let in fiscal year 2023. US 77 at 0.10 mile south of North Yeager Street to replace bridge and approaches at the UPRR is scheduled to let in 2024. FM 141 from SH21 to FM 1697 for level up and seal coat is scheduled to let in 2024. FM 1697 from FM 141 to Washington County line for level up and seal coat is scheduled to let in 2026. US 77 from 1.35 miles north of SH21 to 0.569 miles south of SH21 for level up and Tom is scheduled to let in 2026. The project that is on US 77 that has an asterisk next to it is the only individual project included in the 2023 through 2026 rural tip for Lee County. This project is a continuous widening project that extends into Yoakum District and into Fayette County. The map shows all the projects included in the 2023 through 2026 rural tip for Llano County. The table shows the details of projects included in the 2023 through 2026 rural tip for Llano County. SH16 from Llano North city limits to San Saba County line for level up and seal coat is scheduled to let in fiscal year 2023. SH29 from RM 1431 to Burnett County line for level up and Tom overlay is scheduled to let in fiscal year 2023. RM 2233 from SH71 to RM 2900 for repair, level up and seal coat is scheduled for 2023. SH71 from East SH116 to 0.624 miles east of Burns Creek for level up bonding course and Tom is scheduled to let in fiscal year 23. RM 2900 from RM 1431 to Colorado River for mill and inlay is scheduled to let in 2024. SH29 from Autumn Avenue to Wells Avenue for level up mill bonding course and inlay is scheduled to let in fiscal year 2025. SH29 from Wells Avenue to RM 2241 for level up and Tom is scheduled to let in fiscal year 2025. SH16 from Llano city limits to Llano Gillespie County line for level up and seal coat is scheduled to let in 2025. RM 1431 from SH261 to 0.5 miles south of SH29 for level up and Tom overlay is scheduled to let in 2025. And SH29 from Pecan Street to Autumn Avenue for mill and overlay is scheduled to let in 2025. The map shows projects included in the 23 through 26 rural tip for Mason County. The table shows the details of projects included in the 2023 through 2026 rural tip for Mason County. US 87 from 0.41 miles of RM 152 to RM 2244 for reclaim hot mix is scheduled to let in 2023. US 87 from SH 29 to Meyer Street is for level up mill bonding course, scheduled to let in fiscal year 2024. US 87 from Krause Road to US 377 for level up and seal coat is scheduled to let in 2025. SH 71 from RM 386 to San Saba County line for FDR and seal coat is scheduled to let in 2025. And RM 501 from SH 71 to San Saba County line for seal coat is scheduled to let in fiscal year 2025. The rural tip functions as a budget list for the district. As such, it is fiscally constrained. Like the budget of a household, the rural tip has to be realistic about the amount of money available to cover the needs. Frequently, we identify more improvements than we have money to implement. This means prioritizing according to those items that are most necessary. We've discussed the list, but where is the money coming from? Funds can come from three main sources. One, the federal government through the establishment of the Moving Ahead for Progress in the 21st Century Act, or MAP 21. The federal government allocates these funds through the processes established by federal highway and transit administrations. TxDOT, like the federal government, also allocates a section of our budget for these projects through Unified Transportation Program's 12 funding categories, and 3, local governments. Once the need has been identified and the amount of federal funds have been defined, the rural tip helps local governments assess the funding requirements to match those of the federal and state government and their capacity to meet them. As I mentioned in the last slide, we are looking at TxDOT's 12 funding categories managed by our Unified Transportation Program team in the Transportation Planning and Programming Division. This slide not only shows you what types of work qualify under each of the categories, but what TxDOT's strategic goals are. They also show you the percentage of funds that are programmed for each of the qualifying types of work. Now, after you review and comment on these projects, what's next? The timeline above illustrates the rural tip process and where we are right now. Once comments have been collected and considered, if necessary, the Austin District can provide TxDOT with a revised rural tip for approval and integration into the statewide document. The statewide Transportation Improvement Program is an accumulation of all 24 districts' rural tips and the 23 Metropolitan Planning Organization's tips. The timeline above shows where in the rural tip process fits into the larger effort. Once the STIP is approved by the federal government, everyone's projects are considered funded. Now that you are familiar with the program, we want to hear what you think. You can mail your comments to the Texas Department of Transportation, Austin District, attention, rural tip at 7901 North I-35, Austin, Texas 78753, or it can be emailed to angela.irwin@texdot.gov. Another way you can comment is through our social pinpoint platform on TxDOT's website at www.texdot.gov, keyword search Austin District Rural Tip. If you are mailing in a comment, they must be postmarked or otherwise received by Saturday, June 18, 2022. Please make sure you send your comments before this date. If after today you would like more information or have any other questions, feel free to reach out to our district. Remember that you can print out or share our website link if you wish to discuss this information with your friends or family. Thank you for joining.